a quality of life. We want a quality of life where we can have peace in our hearts and tranquility, happiness. That's the real life. The early chapters of the Quran, focusing on our faith, being good people, believing in Allah, believing in the Day of Judgment. So Islam is a call to people who are living, but they are not living a complete life, an authentic life. Their life is not based on values revealed by Allah, taught by the Prophet, peace be upon him, are what will bring us a true and authentic way of life.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahi walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. The speaker of this session will be our dear brother Ammar Amontte from the USA. A bit of a background about our brother Ammar Amontte. He is a Muslim theologian and a graduate of the Imam Institute of Mecca. He is the Imam of the Colorado Muslim Society, which is the largest mosque of the Rocky Mountain region. Ammar received a scholarship to study at the Ullal University in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Since there weren't any similar institutes in the USA, he accepted this, the chance to study in Saudi Arabia. Our brother Ammar attended 3 schools over a period of 12 years in Saudi Arabia and received his master's at the Graduate Institute for Preparation of Imams in the city of Mecca. He returned to the Denver area of the USA in 1994 and has remained since very active in the field of da'wah, both within his community as well through Muslim media channels such as Peace TV. So I would like to invite our brother Ammar Amontte to this podium to present his talk entitled The Authentic Muslim Life. Welcome, brother Ammar Amontte.
Thank you very much. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala al-habib al-Mustafa wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. I would like to just correct a few things because what you read was a little bit out of date, but I'm the Imam at the Islamic Center of Virginia, now in the United States, in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I would like to thank everybody here for having me here in your country and in your city of Mumbai. Jazakum Allahu khairan. Especially I would like to thank the Islamic Research Foundation and Peace TV for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk to you. It's really a pleasure to be here with you. I hope that you might benefit a little bit just as I have been able to benefit already during my short stay here. I only came here last night and alhamdulillah already enjoyed ourselves very much and have benefited greatly. And so it's a really fantastic opportunity. It's really amazing what they've been able to do here to put on this huge event. And I hope all of you are really proud of what you have accomplished here in Mumbai, and extend thanks to all the people who, through their cooperation and their great efforts, have been able to put on this Dawah conference on behalf of the entire Muslim Ummah, because everything that you are doing here is benefiting people all over the world. We have to realize that today, whatever we do, whatever we say, it has an effect everywhere. With modern communications, really, we're living in a small town. And especially people active in Islamic da'wah and communicating the message of Islam, we have to realize that our words could carry far and abroad. Maybe something you do here will affect somebody on the other side of the world, inshallah. Maybe somebody would become a Muslim because of a word that was spoken here in Mumbai, thousands of miles away. Subhanallah. So it's really a fantastic opportunity, and I appreciate the chance to be here with you. And I hope that all of us will carry with us the intention to do everything we do for the sake of Allah alone. My subject, very briefly, is about the authentic Muslim life. And the reason I'm choosing this subject is that today there are many different people offering to Muslims and non-Muslims alike different alternative lifestyles or ways of life. And in our Muslim community, there are many people offering their own version of Islam and telling people which version of Islam perhaps is authentic in their opinion. And it can be very confusing to people. And especially today, we know there are extreme viewpoints which can easily lead people astray if they're not aware. And so I only wanted to talk briefly about some principles that we can use as guidelines of Islam on what Islam envisions for us as Muslims. What is our lifestyle? Where do we take the principles? In Islam, we have a life we're supposed to be living. And our message is a call to this life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, astajibu lillahi wa lirrasuli idha da'akum lima yuhyikum. O you who believe, you who have iman, respond to Allah and to the messenger when they call you or when they invite you to that which gives you life. So this is the basic da'wah or message of Islam. O you who have iman. Iman means that you have belief in your heart in Allah, that He is the only one worthy of our worship and service, because Allah alone owns all perfection. Everything that you can imagine that is good, that is positive, that is desirable, it all comes from Allah. And Allah has everything good and positive and desirable. He has it completely and perfectly. And so the one who himself is absolutely good and perfect in every way, he deserves that we would worship him and obey him. No one who is lacking in any area in perfection deserves our worship and service. So when we believe in Allah in our heart, and we believe in His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, and we have the intention to obey the commandments of Islam, that is iman. So it's a knowledge in your heart that moves in your heart so that you will respond to it, that you will act. It's not theoretical knowledge. Like you hear people today say, you know, I believe God exists. I acknowledge that God exists. What is that? Here in India, if you go to the President of India, or you go to the Prime Minister of India and you say, I acknowledge that you exist, will he be satisfied with that? No, he expects that you will follow the laws. That if you have a leader in your society, you must obey the laws that are enacted by your leadership. He will not be satisfied that you simply say, yes, I acknowledge you, you exist. But people think that if they say, yes, God exists, that's enough. They believe that now I'm a believer. But that's not what Allah wants. When you acknowledge Allah, you realize everything in our life, everything we want, everything we need, from the day we're born till the day we die, it comes from Allah. Therefore, we owe Allah everything. And so we will humbly submit ourselves in Islam, in obedience to Allah alone. And so you have that feeling in your heart, and it stirs you to live that life, to act. That is what we call Iman. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. You who have the knowledge of Allah, the belief in the message of Islam in your heart, and that inspires you to act according to it, insha'Allah. Astajibu lillah. Answer Allah's da'wah, Allah's invitation to you, His call, and the call of His messenger to you. And what do they call you to? Lima yuhyikum, to that which will revive you, which will bring you life. And so the call of Islam is to a real life, a spiritual life, without which you would be dead. So if Allah is calling us to life, it means we have a choice between two things: life or death. Now we know that Allah is calling people who are living. The Quran is sent down to people who can hear it with their ears and can respond to its message. So Islam is a call to people who are living, but they are not living a complete life, an authentic life. Their life is not based on values revealed by Allah. The values revealed by Allah, taught by the Prophet, peace be upon him, are what will bring us a true and authentic way of life. And this is the call of Islam.
A friendly message by Dr. Zakir. The Islamic bomb.
Islam comes from the Arabic root word salam or salam, which means peace. It is also derived from the root word silm, which means to submit your will to Almighty God. People who worry that one day nuclear weaponry will fall in the hands of the Arabs, they fail to realize that the Islamic bomb, the bomb of peace, has already been dropped. It fell the day Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born.
Peace TV, the solution for humanity.
There are people who call to death, and death is another name for being rigid and unmoving. So we think of a rock. A rock is something which, if you call it, it cannot respond. If you incite it, it will not move for you. The heart that is hard and qasiyah, which Allah has made to be hard, it has no real life. It has no hayatun ma'nawiyya, or a spiritual life, a life of meaning and purpose. But the heart that is alive, when it hears a message, when it sees the truth and reality, it will respond. And so we as Muslims must respond to the message of Islam, to the Prophet ﷺ. We must answer the call of the Quran and the Sunnah. We cannot be like a rock who sits there, never moving, never changing, never thinking, never acting. But unfortunately, today, although the Muslims are billions of people, yet many of us do not live an authentic life in the heart. Our iman is so weak. Our knowledge of Islam is so little that when we hear the call of Allah, we do not respond, we don't move. No one can move us. No one can let us look at our lives and change our lives according to the will of Allah Almighty. Who is the person who can do that? Who is the person who can respond to the message of Allah? In Surah An-Nahl, chapter 16 of the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Man amila salihan min dhakarin aw untha wa huwa mu'minun falanuhyiyannahu hayatan tayyibah." Whoever does righteous deeds as a believer, whether male or female, we shall grant them a good life in this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you are a mu'min, whether you are a man or a woman, a male or a female, whoever you are, if you have the real iman, you have the real belief in Islam in your heart, and you do al-amal al-salihat, the righteous deeds, that means whenever you do something, you want to know, is this something which is good or evil? Is it right or wrong? Halal or haram? Permitted or forbidden? And when you find out a deed is a good deed, then you aim to do that deed. So you have iman in your heart, and it leads you to al-amal al-salihat. And so the ulama say that iman, it must be belief in your heart and words that you say and actions that you do. It cannot just be knowledge alone in your heart, but you must do an action. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah An-Nahl, whoever as a mu'min with iman will do righteous deeds, whether they are male or female, Allah will grant them life. Their heart will be alive. It will not be a rock. It will not be a solid, hard thing. It will be a live, breathing, living thing, living a spiritual life. When we talk about life, in English and in Arabic language and many languages, it has many different meanings that we use. So what are the things that make something really alive? One thing is growth. A rock doesn't grow. A plant grows, develops. Animals, everything that is alive has to grow and develop. It cannot be static. It cannot be rigid. So a rock, even though we don't normally call it a dead thing because it was never alive in the first place, yet it does not have life because it is static, unchanging. So the heart that is alive must be changing, growing, developing. We learn, we increase our knowledge, but it doesn't become simply data that is in our head, but it becomes part of our life. I have a computer. I can put all of the Quran, all of the hadith, all of the facts and data. I can fill my computer with it. But is the computer benefiting from that knowledge that I put in it? No, it's not. The computer is a dead thing. It has no life. It cannot respond. I can fill it with more data than any hafiz knows. All the knowledge could be gathered in a big computer, but the computer cannot respond. It's not alive. If Islam is simply books on the shelves, it is not alive. We have, alhamdulillah, a beautiful heritage of Islam. We have 1,000 years of knowledge, science, culture, sitting on the shelves recorded in books. They say that in the time of the Mongol invasion of the Islamic world, perhaps 2/3 of the books in Islamic history were lost. If you will look at the list of the famous scholars and ulama, Sometimes the majority of their books are lost. Yet the books that we have are thousands and thousands of volumes. There's no one living on the face of the earth who has mastered all that knowledge. But we could fill it in one computer, but it would not respond to that message. And so to be living as Muslim, we have to learn. Better that we learn a little bit of our knowledge and live it in a real life than have data and facts stored in books that have no meaning and purpose to our daily existence. Another thing about a living thing, you would call that in Arabic language, al-quwwat al-hassasa. It has awareness and perception. And so, if a person, you can imagine, is in a coma, they have no awareness, their heart is beating, they're hooked up maybe to a respirator, they have oxygen, their heart is beating, they're alive technically, but they have no awareness, no perception. If you talk to them, they can't hear you, they can't move, they're not thinking, they're like in a sleep, but deeper than a sleep. Is that a real life? Who wants to have that life? Who would choose that? I prefer, if I were ill, if I were in the hospital, and I have lost all movement, I can't think, I can't speak, I can't hear, I would prefer to be dead. Better than to be lying as they would say, as a vegetable in a hospital bed. So the person who may be alive, their body is alive, but they have no perception and awareness. They're as the mauta, as the dead. Unfortunately today, many of us are like that. You can give speeches, you can recite the Quran to them, you can translate it to their language. You can show them the stories of the Anbiya, the prophets and messengers. You can teach them the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, but they don't hear you. They have ears, but they can't hear you. Summun bukmun umyun. Blind, deaf, and dumb. If you ask them, they can't talk. Tell me about Islam, the neighbor says. Tell me about Islam. They don't know what to say. This is not the real life. This is not the authentic way of life of Islam. And of course, intelligence is part of life. To be a fully functioning person in the community, you have to have intelligence. If you open up your microscope, look at a drop of water, you will find it's full of life, teeming with living creatures. But is that the real life? The creature which does not have intelligence, which does not use its mind, is not on the same level. There are different levels. And the human being, bifadlillah, by the grace of Allah, has been granted this brain that we carry around every day in our head. Many of us are carrying this brain and it's too heavy for us. It's better for us to leave it away because we don't use it anyway. So we carry it around every day and we don't know what to do with it. This is the most powerful computer in the entire universe. No human invention has come close to what you have that you're carrying around. But how much are we benefiting from it?